take me over. About to shine bright like a supernova. Hi, Roberta.
Hey, good evening. It is very late. Well,
It is.
late.
It's late. No, girl.
Well, we woke up really early, so it feels. I think we have recorded way past this time, but we just both woke up so early that it feels, particularly.
Aren't you gonna miss seeing me in person for so long?
Yeah, I will, but I believe that I'll be able to endure. You know, I think that we've gone long stretches without seeing each other before.
Not this long. This is gonna be the longest we've gone in a long time.
Probably, yeah, that's true.
I am, after all, your platonic life partner.
You have like 5 of us, so I don't feel special. It's like what? There's like me, Kamika, who else? Jay. You have 3, so like you're polyamorous, bitch. You're the one that's polyamorous.
You know, people on the podcast they were like, Bob loves to come from Monet talking about her monogamous relationship. I'm like, when Bob was literally talking about how polyamory almost every episode.
That's not the same thing. I was acknowledging that I had 2 boyfriends. You are specifically bringing up that you're monogamous.
I'm acknowledging I'm monogamous.
No, I was acknowledging that I have 2 partners. I was like, oh, I'll go to Ezra. I was talking to Jacob, but I wasn't like my polyamorous lifestyle. I'm polyamorous. I was like, I'm going to see Ezra, and then I'm going to see
Bitch,
Jacob's
same
family.
thing.
It's not the same. So it's every time you mention your boyfriend Andy, that's not you acknowledging that you're monogamous. But when you specifically say I'm in a monogamous relationship,
well, also I'm also doing a bit because I know how the thought of monogamy you find it tickles you. So I'm doing a bit. That's number 1. But number 2, before I would say my monogamous relationship, I would say Andy. You're like, oh, we get it, Monet. You talk about your boyfriend Andy. We get it.
Which is literally what you did for me the entire time I started dating Jacob. As soon as I started dating Jacob, every time we get it. And by the way, I'm not even going to defend myself because
I don't know that to be true.
Because it's around the time that we started the podcast. There's a lot of footage of it, so you all don't need to. This was 5 years ago. Go to the first episodes of the podcast. Whenever I mentioned that I had a partner, Money, but what'd you do? I was like, well, me and Jacob. Oh, we get it. You have a boyfriend. We know. So it's not the fact that you're acknowledging that you have a partner. It's that you're so leaning into your monogamy, and it was literally like 1 or 2 comments. One is like, everyone, you love to be everyone.
It is everyone. Bitch, by the way, I posted on Patreon today. Nick dragged you, and I agree with Nick. It's the inconsistencies for me.
Also, first of all, Nick is a dumb fuck and doesn't know what he's talking about. And I hope Nick is listening.
Nick is a Patreon, of course. Nick is listening.
And I have a lot of sisters from my season who can confirm my story. And I immediately said, wait, I don't remember. Did we have? And I did not say we don't have no days off. I said, oh wait, I think we actually had Saturdays off. Is what I said. I literally said it in the same breath on the podcast. So maybe Nick has
lick.
Yeah, maybe Nick has dumb bitch selective hearing.
Oh my God. Jesus. So we were with someone today that had tooth candy, and so you guys don't know, tooth candy is when they take a Swarovski crystal and they put it on your tooth, on any of your teeth you want. They put on your tooth, and it's supposed to last, they say, from 3 to 6 months. Patty has had his tooth candy in before we moved here, so like 2 years.
I feel like tooth candy is a brand. Tooth candy is a brand. I might be wrong though. But I had tooth candy. I already got tooth candy.
DragCon UK. You got it done in drag.
Yeah, and I said, Monet, you should go get your tooth candy. And you were like, no. And now here you are, years later.
How long did yours last?
It lasted quite some. I scraped it off. I had to take it off. It was months. It was on there.
Why did you take it off? Did you not like it anymore?
I think I was over it. But in true Monet fashion, years after I did it, Monet was like, we should get tooth candy.
Well, here's the thing. So I'm not a fan of the one. So if y'all don't know how Swarovski crystals go, they go from SS1, and I'm sure
it's all crystals, by the way. It's not just Swarovski crystals.
Well, yeah, sorry. So all crystals.
Again,
they go
from for those who don't know, Swarovski is
a brand. Yeah,
crystals. Yeah,
and but Swarovski stopped selling their crystals individually to dealers. So now there's a new one. I went down to get stones for a video Bob and I did. It's coming out soon. I went to go buy crystals. I was like, can I have Swarovski? It's like, you can't buy Swarovski anymore because so there's a new one that takes the place of the Swarovski. Anyway, how they're measured from.
Oh, that video.
Yes, they're measured from SS1 up until the biggest I know is 40. I'm sure they go bigger. I just don't. I don't know that.
40. What is that? What would that look like? Is that like a? What is it? What would that even look like?
SS40, I would imagine to be about the size of a little smaller than a quarter or like a nickel.
That's a huge rhinestone.
But I want like SS5. SS5 is tiny. I want if I get like a bunch of SS5s on one tooth, I think that would be cute.
I think you should do it. You know, I enjoyed my tooth candy. I thought it was fun. I liked it. And then when I was over it, I just kind of scraped it off and went about my business.
Does it cut the inside of your lip?
No, it didn't cut my lip. I mean, you feel it there. You definitely feel it on your lip. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I mean, Jacob, I had it while we were together.
Did you feel so when Bob would give you oral pleasure? Did you feel it, Jacob?
Do you think I'm rubbing my teeth on Jacob's dick or asshole? Is that what you do when you give head or eat ass? Do you rub your teeth on your partner's dick? The outside of your teeth, no less. Is that how you give head?
Yeah, I like to use all parts of my mouth. I don't just only do the throat and tongue. I like to incorporate the teeth as well in a thoughtful way so that it's pleasurable. Well, okay, you've seen this. Have you? I know you've seen this, and I don't know how that's pleasurable. You see the videos when people suck dick, and they put the dick in between their teeth and their cheek like that. I'm like, what is that? What is that?
I think it's porn. I think it's geared. It's pleasurable for the person viewing it at home, but I don't think it's really for the person receiving the.
It's not pleasurable to me viewing that at home. I'm not like, ooh, that looks like it feels good.
There's someone who's like, ooh, I want to see the penis like in their mouth and on the side and on the side of their mouth. So I think that's more so for the viewer. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
but
I see that show.
There's one guy in porn who's like always telling girls to like bite the head of his dick a little bit.
Well, probably like a little like not. I'm guessing it's not like. It's probably like a little like,
Well, I'm not sure, but he tells the girls to bite the head of his penis a lot. It's Mandingo. Mandingo often tells the girls to bite his penis.
His name is Mandingo. I don't know Mandingo.
Mandingo is a famous porn star.
Well, okay, I don't know the origins of the word Mandingo, but
It's of the Mandingo tribe.
Oh, so that's why.
But then the term
for slavery.
Then the term became a little bit more perverted here in America, and it became Mandingo. Then it became just a term for like large
fetishize
large black men, and then specifically in terms of the fights, it became like Mandingo fights.
Then it became a colloquialism used for porn too. Like I want like a Mandingo. Yeah, I want a Mandingo dick or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Mandingo was one of the people who got that term because Mandingo is a porn star with a humongous, like absurdly humongous penis, and then a giant penis became known as a Mandingo.
Has the podcast episode where you guys when I did poppers, did that come out yet? No.
By the time they listen to this episode, that episode will be out. Yes.
Oh, so okay. Well, I talk about my experience doing poppers there, and
What?
I was telling Andy, I did poppers on the podcast. He was like, "You did poppers on the podcast?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Do you want to do it when we have sex?" I was like, "No," and maybe I should try it.
Andy trying to get a whiff. Andy trying to live vicariously.
No, he's not.
Andy's like, "Do you want to just spit your beer in my mouth?" Andy living a little too. Andy's like, "Do you want to have a drink and then like just
Black
kiss me with
to the sun.
You want to drink and then kiss me with a lot of tongue?" Andy trying to live vicariously. Andy flying. Andy getting real slick over there.
Okay, I have a question. As you being a sober person, Jacob not, when like let's say you and Jacob are out somewhere and Jacob is drinking, do you like and you guys like happen to kiss? Do you or you guys kiss? Do you pause before you kiss Jacob so like the alcohol like goes away, or you just go for it anyway?
Well, we don't like make out in public. And so that's kind of like a big part of why that's like we're not making out in public, and also Jacob doesn't really drink that often, so I've never been in a scenario in public where me and Jacob were like tongue kissing in a public venue where he was having drinks.
Got it.
So And I can't really think of a scenario where Jacob and I would be out in public tongue kissing.
Work. Well,
just kind of
the
not. It's
answer
just
to my
kind of
question.
not our. It's just kind of not our thing, you know. Do you and Andy tongue kiss in public a lot?
I would say a lot, but we do like a lot of being like we're always doing it, but we tongue kiss often in public.
Like, where are you tongue kissing?
I mean, where? What do you mean?
Where are you making out in public?
The way you ask questions, it sounds so.
But I'm genuinely curious, like where you are that you're making out in public.
Okay, now I'm making out, like, let's say we're like on a dance floor, like a party, and like I'm drinking a drink and we're dancing, and then we like go and then we go in for a kiss. Like we do that, like we go out to
like
dance a lot.
making out, and you're like making out.
No, we're not like, but we're kissing and there's a little tongue, like a little, not like we're not like making out for 5 minutes, but like we're kissing and there's a little tongue in there, like for a few of those moments.
Yeah, Jacob and I don't think Jacob and I have ever had a moment where we have like been kissing more than a peck in public.
Really?
Have you had that experience with alcohol breath and kissing somebody with somebody else though? Because we're polyamorous.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Here we go. Polyamorous.
Well, my last partner was sober. My other partner was sober. And but like strangers. No, I did tell the story before, and I'll reiterate it quickly. But one time, Tina Burner did randomly kiss me, and my mouth went numb. Hashtag. By the way, on a completely unrelated note, have you seen the movie Cocaine Bear? On a completely unrelated note, I am not insinuating anything. I'm just wondering if you've seen Cocaine Bear. Have you seen it?
Bob is so full of shit.
I'm just asking if you've seen Cocaine Bear.
We spoke about this, so yes, I did.
Well, then answer the question, bitch. Have you seen it or not?
I did see it. And
okay, well then now we can move on and go back to the conversation. Have you ever? Is that the problem that you and Andy have with the kissing and the mouth stuff?
That he went numb?
No, that you were like drinking tequila and then. Or for all you know, it could be tequila, it could be whiskey, it could be vodka. You have no clue.
No, there's a situation where like I would like have just took some drink, and it will go in for a kiss, and he was like, I'm like, oh, sorry, but
that makes sense. Yeah, Jacob doesn't really drink at home, and we don't make out in public, so this is not a problem that Jacob and I have ever run into.
Okay, when you like hook up with, is it something because of Jacob's comfortability? Like, do you?
Have you hooked up? A guy in Brooklyn, like maybe like I don't know, a couple months ago, and he showed up and he was like, "I bought a drink." I said, "Oh, do you want a drink from the minibar?" And he was like, "No, I bought a drink." And then he was like drinking it and then trying to kiss me, and he was like trying to like, I was like, "Nigga, swallow your fucking drink at least." Damn. And then he like went to. And then he was like, so he would drink the entire drink, like this whole like cocktail that he had, like a premixed cocktail that he got from the store. And then he was like,
that is such a New York thing. That is, well, maybe it's not New York, but this is my experience in New York. Niggas in New York will bring a drink from the corner store. That is so New York.
And then he
in
was
a black
like,
bag.
No, he was in the black bag. He was so cute though too. But I was like, I hate that you're. And then he was like, actually, can I have that drink of yours? Like, sure. So I gave him the bottle. You know those little bottles of alcohol. It wasn't like a premium. It was like a bottle of alcohol, like straight up alcohol.
A little like airline.
Not like a little one. Like it was like maybe 3 of those in this bottle.
Oh.
And then he drank the entire thing. Okay. And then we kept fooling around. And then he was like, "Oh, can I get the premixed drink too?" And I was like, "This is wild. Like, you're not that cute, baby. Like, you're really hot, but like not cute enough to be like." And then he drank that, and then by the time I was like, "You are drunk. Like, you showed up sober, and you are now wasted."
Was he wasted really, or you just be dramatic?
No, he was drunk. He left drunk, and I was like, it's the point I was like, you gotta like. I didn't say you gotta go. We talked and hung out for a little bit. But I was like, I remember thinking to myself, like, you are drunk. Like, you were not drunk when you showed up. I went downstairs, met you downstairs. And then by the time he left, he was drunk. because he had an entire cocktail, 3 shots, and then a cocktail. Gagged. Fully gagged.
Jacob, you playing music?
Sorry, I had my phone ready for advisory and I got a text.
Oh.
Yeah, I was fully gagged. He was so cute, though. He had a really cool style.
Well, I haven't. I've been drunk maybe like 6 or 7 times in my entire life, and one of them was recently when I went to Australia.
I must have been around for like all 5 of them because we used to work together.
God.
And baby,
Bob,
I promise you've been
Bob,
drunk
I
more than
was
6, 7
not
times.
drunk. I was not drunk in those times.
Okay, sure. I've never seen you drunk.
When?
I'm asking you, have I never seen you drunk?
No, you have not.
Okay, so if I call Mitch right now and Mitch answers the phone because we both work with you at the Monster, Mitch will say he has never seen you drunk.
Oh my God.
I'm asking.
Bob, first of all, it is 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning in New York.
And you know Mitch is awake. Just answer the question.
I don't know if Mitch is awake.
But so you don't go because you know Mitch and I both know we've seen you drunk many times, 6 times. Bitch, you are on this podcast lying. Bitch, is your mom listening, bitch? Like who are you fronting for? Who are you fronting for? You will come on this podcast and come clean about a nigga shitting on your chest, but then you will lie about how many times you've been drunk. You are wild. You are wild. I think I've been drunk maybe twice. Bitch, you've been drunk more than 6 times. I've seen you drunk more than 6 times.
I said 6 or 7.
Monet, you are y'all. Okay, continue your false story. Y'all believe this shit if you want to. Go ahead, Monet. If I call Kamika right now, how many times do you think Kamika's seen you drunk?
Kamika's probably seen me drunk maybe 2 times, maybe. And Kamika has known me for the longest of anyone in my life.
I've seen you drunk more than 2 times, and I've known you for 11 or 12 years.
Okay. Also, Bob will call somebody drunk if they had 1 drink, but if someone has 1 drink, Bob was like,
"Bitch, Monet, I worked in bars I have been working in bars since like 2008. I know a drunk person when I see one. Everyone with a drink is not drunk. I know a drunk person when I see one. I am an alcoholic. I know a drunk person when I see a drunk person.
I have not been drunk. Bob has maybe.
Monet, I did an entire season of a podcast with Thorgy. I know a drunk person when I see a drunk person.
Okay, Thorgy's not a drunk person. Thorgy has a fucking problem. Okay, let's start there. Anyway,
wild.
I think we should take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about.
Stop trying to. Wait till Jacob does the finger roll.
We're at 17 minutes.
You always try to tell us when to take breaks.
Well, generally for advisory, we don't
take breaks during advisory.
We don't take breaks, but Jacob, we also haven't gotten to any questions.
I've been new, Jacob. I've been new. We don't take advisory breaks. But Monet always trying to. We paid Jacob to produce. Let Jacob produce.
Oh my God.
Or were you drunk all those times and forgot? You are wild.
Hey, let's take the first question, please. Jesus, someone save me.
Wait, hold on. Don't do the question yet, Jake.
Oh, Lord.
I actually have our first question. First
of all, Jasmine Rice is downstairs now. I'll call Jasmine Rice.
Oh, yeah.
Please leave your message.
Yeah.
You lucky. I'm trying.
Because Mitch is asleep. Bob will call somebody back to back. They are. First of all, he's not even asleep. He's just person that ignored.
Anyway, yeah. Call
Let's
Jasmine
take the first question. Jasmine can't come up. She can't.
Hi, Bob and Monet. My name is Chanello. Pronouns are she, they, and I'm a black, fat, queer woman living in America. Right. I have this coworker who, for lack of a better term, sorry to use this word, but that's like the only, I don't have a good vocabulary, but she's a coon. Literally, it's every day. I'm met with like anti-black sentiments, and I'm a cashier. I work in retail, so I work long hours and we're short staffed, and it's me and her. And I want to know, like, what can I do to like tune her out or stop letting her insecurities bother me? So yeah, that's it. Sincerely, shucking and jiving.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Just anyone who's listened to our podcast who's not familiar with these verbiage. So coon is a word it's evolved over time. It used to just be like a racial slur against black people that white people used to use, and now it's like a term that black people use as like a epithet against other. I don't know if I'm using that word right, against other black people who they think, I guess, like align their vision with like white supremacy. I think is the best way to I don't know if I'm using the word epitaph right. Epitaph.
I think you did.
No, epitaph is when someone dies, and an epitaph is a phrase or word.
It's a epithet.
Epithet.
Isn't that what you said?
Epithet is an adjective or descriptive phrase expressing a quality or characteristics of a person or things mentioned. Epithet. I said epitaph, which is what also is on your tombstone.
Yeah.
Epitaph, epithet. Anyway, Monet, you want to take
meeting another black person who exhibits this kind of behavior, it is very frustrating. It's very upsetting. It's maddening because you share, obviously, well, not obviously, but most times when most black people walk into a room, even though you have never met or seen or spoken to a black person before, you feel some type of kinship sometimes just because you assume that you guys have a similar experience, especially if you both are from America or you're both from the UK, whatever it is. And when you see them say things or do behavior that uplift white supremacy or align themselves with it, it's really annoying, and it feels maddening to be around. And the advice I can give you to not let this person's coonage identity bring you down, I want to say engage with that person, because it's not your business to shine a light on them. I mean, it's not your business. Maybe something that you might do to alleviate yourself of having to. So at least you have you have the thing that you did what you could do to express your opinions to that person. But I mean, it's kind of like the thing, right? Just ignore them, and if you are assigned projects to work with this person, or you guys have to work the same shift together, I know that's really hard to not communicate with that person, and you don't want it to affect your job and your livelihood. But it's kind of like if most people I've seen who are that, like, they've grown up, like they've been like rooted in this behavior. They've always thought like this as long as they can remember. So it's really hard to kind of erase it from that. And it's not your job to teach them a better way, but you just kind of have to just ignore them and just not engage, even though how maddening it could be, and how frustrating it is to hear them say things that align themselves with that kind of behavior. I don't really know how to coexist with that, to be honest.
Well, I wish that I knew what the person was doing, because I feel like the term coon has a really, depending on who you are, has a really wide definition. So for some people, cooning is like, you have to be like Uncle Ruckus. Like, if you're not Uncle Ruckus, I don't know if you know, Uncle Ruckus is a character from Boondocks who just loves white people and thinks that white people are just like the best thing ever. And he's like, I love the white man. And he's like, he's like, and shucking and jiving is like a phrase that you use to describe like when like a black person is like dancing and performing blackness for white people. But then there are times, then you have someone like Candace Owens who famous called this a lot. But then I've been called a coon because I have a white boyfriend. So sometimes the wideness of what is and is not a coon is really wild. Is what people consider.
Really? Have you really been called a coon before for having having a white boyfriend?
Having a white boyfriend, yeah.
People have made statements about me, but I've never noticed them calling me a coon because my boyfriend is white,
or for having white friends. Or you must have forgot our one hater on
Oh, girl,
because he called us that a lot.
Did he?
Yeah, because we have white boyfriends and white friends. But anyway, I mean, I think that if this person is exhibiting behavior that's anti-black, I'm argumentative. I'm not recommending that.
At work?
Let me finish my thing. I'm not recommending that. But I do tend to sometimes, even at work, even when I wasn't working this job, I would express my thoughts in a way that was very clear that I was not interested or not happy with, or did not align myself with the way that someone was thinking. And I can't in good faith recommend it all the time, but I know that it helped me a lot. And it rarely ever really got me in trouble because I do still have tact. So I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna be like screaming at people and being like, do not. I'll be like, so when you said you feel like black people should just stop resisting, what do you mean by that? Do you think, like, I heard that at work today you kind of echoed this idea that black people make up 13% of the population but are over 50% of the prison population. Now, do you think that might be because black communities are over policed? Do you think it might be a statistical impossibility for black people to commit more than half the crime in America, considering that we're 13% of the population, or that the crime is underreported or there's a very few arrests and charges in white communities or non-black communities. So do you think that might be a possibility? I mean, even if every single black person in America was committing violent crimes and only half the white people were committing violent crimes, they would still be doing more crimes than us. So don't you think that might be a possibility? I would probably say it like that as opposed to being like, don't ever, you know what I mean? But also if you have the ability to just like do your job and leave. I mean, it depends on like what does this job mean to you? If you have the ability to do your job, clock out and go home, then maybe that's the best thing. I really think that protecting your peace is really important.
And then you and all the other black people just get together and talk about that bitch. We're like, yo, you can't believe what this dumb bitch said the other day. And we're like, bitch, I know. Some other famous black coons that people, maybe that seems messy to engage in, actually. Let me not do that. That seems very messy. I'm not going to do that. But
you ain't going to do it? Wow, that's coon behavior. You won't call them out? Wow.
That seems
A
so
coon,
messy.
A cab, all coons are bastards. I'm kidding.
I mean, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro are probably not Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro's not black.
The one that became the Department of Housing. He's Ben Carson.
There's something weird. Okay, the term coon I've mentioned like something weird about because the difference between like nigga as a because when black people use nigga, it's not a pejorative,
right? And
coon is a racial pejorative, but it's specifically one that black people use against other black people. It's just such an interesting. It's such an interesting. It's really interesting. I don't typically assign that title to people. I don't call people coons, but I do used to say things like this person has a lot of internalized racism. This person has some self-hatred, some internalized racism.
Yeah, I don't use that word often. I don't have a problem with black people using it, but it's just not part of my vocabulary. But yeah. Shall we do the next question?
Mm-hmm.
Jacob.
Here we go.
Hey, Bob Monet. My name is Rashawn. I'm a college student in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm 19 years old, and I wanted to ask advice about how to maintain my self-worth on apps like Grindr and Tinder, especially when I'm faced with a lot of not only colorism, racism, like fat phobia, and all this other stuff. I'm working on my body a lot, and this can be really heartbreaking when people like don't find you attractive because of it. It has a really big self-impact on me, especially when I'm a short, dark-skinned black guy, chubby in America. So I just want to know some advice on how to not only cope with that, but I guess navigate those spaces. Thanks. I love you guys.
Thank you. Before we go into that, I just want to quickly say, because I did not say this before, to any white people listening who are just now finding out about the word coon, I do not advise you use this word. Do not. I'm obviously people can say whatever they want to say, but it is as bad as saying the N-word. And like to you cannot be like, well, Candace Owens is a coon.
Well, imagine
if you heard a white person call Candace Owens a coon. Like,
what did I do?
If I was standing around and a white person called Candace Owens a coon, I'd be like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
I was part of I saw something where a character was Sister Mary Koonst.
Yeah.
What is that?
But you don't have Google right in front of you?
My Google's broken.
Sister Mary Koonst. Oh, girl, that was your twinner.
Oh.
That's your buddy. That's your buddy, baby. That's your bestie. That's
It wasn't my season.
That's your little she devil buddy.
It wasn't my season.
Yeah, that's your friend.
It wasn't my season.
You want to comment on your?
That was season 9. I just remember hearing that. I remember hearing that and be like, I don't think it was rooted in that in that pejorative.
So interesting.
But it was anyway.
She's backpedaling, Your Honor. Wow.
Anyway,
suddenly she has a lot of leniency. You know what? I didn't used to use the word coon, but I think I just found a good opportunity.
Bob, you're so messy. You're so messy, and you know that you're being messy.
In some relationships in life, people are closer to their aunts than they are to their mothers. And when it comes to my niece, Colleen Exchange, she feels much more comfortable confiding in me.
God.
Can you please not violate my niece's privacy? She feels more confident confiding in me than she does confiding in her mother. And she told me that she's feeling a little bit insecure about the way that people can smell her. So I said, baby, I'm going to tell your mommy to get you a little bit of pretty litter. Now, Colleen is a big believer that she should be seen and not smelled. If she does not want people to walk into the house and get a big waft of cat stink, you know, think of your kitty litter as perfume for your cat, and we're getting her the Chanel No. 5 of kitty litter. Pretty litter crystals change color to indicate early signs of potential illness like urinary tract infections, kidney issues, and more. And nothing beats pretty litter odor control. It is ultra absorbent and instantly traps odor. It's lightweight, dust free, and it works for like a month without clumping. That means like no more wasting litter. So Monet, can you honor me and my niece and switch over to pretty litter, please?
First of all, I've been about that pretty litter life. Colleen must be lying to you. I've told her about lying before, so now I'm going to have to wash her mouth out with cat soap. But let me tell you why I love Pretty Litter. Because Pretty Litter ships free to our door, baby, in a small, lightweight bag. You never run out of it because you don't have to carry no big old nasty container from the shelf to your cart, from the cart to the belt, from the belt to the cart, from the cart to the trunk, from the trunk to the door.
Because the hole in the trees and the ground and the green grass grows all around and around and the green grass grows all around.
And you don't have to worry about storing that bulky container in your house. And you know, I'm a minimalist. I love things being invisible in my home, and that's why I love Pretty Litter. You don't want people coming to your house and getting hit with a nose of cat stink. Get Pretty Litter today. Go to prettylitter.com/rivalry to save 20% on your first order. That's prettylitter.com/rivalry to save 20% on your first order. prettylitter.com/rivalry.
And next we'll be talking about my nephew Potato because he's been complaining too.
Bob, so I heard you've been stewing about your health problems that you're having.
Stewing?
Let me tell you,
Well, I've been Googling and thinking about myself, but I don't know that I'm stewing seems like a strong word.
Well, you keep on sending us pictures and asking us questions in the group chat about what we think you got going on.
Answer the question and also give me my PlayStation 5 that you owe me.
You're extremely unlikely, Roberta, to find quality medical advice in a group chat with Mateo, especially with Patty, and Kennedy for sure. But you can find it from a doctor on ZocDoc.
Now listen, thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc are there to help you. They listen like a friend and give you expert care that you need. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Also, turns out I found out it was just a hangnail. It was literally just a hangnail.
I was gonna say that. I promise I was gonna say that. On ZocDoc, you can find every specialist under the sun. Whether you're trying to fix your teeth, fix an achy back, get that mole checked out, fix your hand nail. Listen, ZocDoc's mobile app is as easy as ordering a ride to a restaurant or getting delivery to your door. Search, find, and book doctors with a few taps. Find and review local doctors, read verified patient reviews from real people who made real appointments, and now you don't have to walk into a doctor's office and feel weird and uncomfortable, babe, because you can get someone that is in find your network who gets you.
Go to ZocDoc.com, find the doctor that's right for you, and book an appointment in person or remotely that works for your schedule. Go to ZocDoc.com/rivalry and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/rivalry. ZocDoc.com/rivalry. Hello, everyone. This is Bob the Drag Queen.
And this is Monet Shanes of the podcast Sibling Rivalry.
Now, as y'all know, the queer community faces numerous challenges regarding access to medical treatment.
We're not joking around. The current healthcare system is built on the assumption that patients are straight and conform to traditional gender norms.
So where does that leave people like us? In our special episode of Sibling Rivalry, brought to you by LGBTQ Nation's Authentic Voices of Pride, presented by Chevrolet, we'll be discussing tough LGBTQ plus healthcare issues no one is talking about.
We'll be taking a deep dive and discussing the healthcare workers, allies, and organizations leading the way to change we need.
Listen, y'all, the episode's already up. It's called The One About LGBTQ plus Healthcare. Come listen to or watch to learn more. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope it encourages you to get interested and, more importantly, get involved. Special thanks to the LGBTQ Nation's Authentic Voices of Pride, presented by Chevrolet.
Your turn to answer the question first, bitch.
You know, okay, this is something I struggled with for so long, and you sound kind of young, which is like, I want to tell you this right now. Like, you are, I don't know what you look like. I don't know you. You did give a description, but I don't actually know what you look like outside of being black, dark, short, and chubby, which are the words that you use to describe yourself. But I really feel like you're gonna fucking be in your 30s, turning 40s. You're gonna look back at yourself now, and you're gonna be like, I was so cute. I was so handsome. I was so adorable. And I wasted so much of my 20s feeling undesirable, so much of my 20s feeling completely unattractive, completely undesirable, because I allowed my self-worth, the way that I value myself, to be dictated by other people and how they saw me. I did not allow myself to give myself my own value. I really looked for it from other people, and I needed it from other people, and I needed it from really, really beautiful people. I remember I told y'all about that guy I was dating. They're not dating, but like we were like kind of seeing each other, that I was like obsessed with, Preston. And like he was so pretty, and I was like, and that was the first time I remember being like someone who I thought was like really beautiful, thought that I was really beautiful, and I allowed him to assign me all of my worth. He didn't know this. He still doesn't know. He probably never does to this day. I allowed him to assign all of my worth to me. And when he didn't want to be with me anymore, I became worthless in my own mind, because he was the arbiter and the keeper and the bearer of all my worth. So when I lost him, I lost my worth, and I had to kind of rebuild it back up. And I was pretty young. I was probably like 25 or 26. And I remember being like, okay, I'm realizing now that that can't be it. That's not sustainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with wanting to work on yourself or work on your body, as you say. But if you're working on your body, this is in my opinion, if you work on your body so that people will want to be with you, that doesn't seem sustainable. You know what I mean? That does not seem sustainable. And I do think that there are people who are going to want to be with you, and people who will find you attractive, and no matter how you look in this world. And you might find a lot more value in those relationships and in those interactions than in changing yourself to fit the standard of people who wouldn't be attracted to you otherwise. You know, trying to pull a Sandy in Grease, Sandy Danny Zuko, where they changed their whole aesthetic to win the other one over by the end of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Bob said. And, I think that the journey to self-acceptance is, to some people, a lifelong journey. To me, it's taken me to well into my 30s to finally find and be at peace with, like, to get it, because I remember being young in 20s. Bitch, going back to Craigslist, being on Craigslist, being on Adam for Adam, I've been feeling so insecure about what I looked like and why I was not desirable to all these people I was trying. I wish I was to, why I was too feminine, why I was too fat, why I was too this and that and the other. I remember being there and hating myself for all those things. And now being at a place where I feel so comfortable with my skin, of course. And again, but I'm still a work in progress too, right? I'm still looking in the mirror like, oh, I wish I could lose 10 pounds here. I wish I could, like, I still struggle with that as well. So I think it is a life journey for a lot of us, and it's something that you have to keep on working on. And maybe the answer is to get off the apps a little bit. I know getting off the app sounds like, well, no, like everyone, like that's how is it going to hook up, and you don't, and that's comfortable for you. But sometimes it really does take getting off that shit and not being addicted to it. Like waking up and it's the first thing you're looking for, see if anybody sent you any messages, to see if you have any taps, if anyone favorited you, like you. It's really easy to get sucked into that shit and being addicted to that shit like fucking drugs, girl. It's like it fully feels like a drug. And sometimes it really takes you to step back from that shit and really do some own soul searching and just really coming to love you. And I know that sounds so cliche and like such some bullshit you see at the end of a rom-com or some fucking movie, but it really is taking a step back and finding that self-love and really digging deep into that and really being at peace with that for you.
First of all, I recommend watching The Color Purple. The Color Purple is the best love story in the world because in the end she gets herself. Spoiler alert, but the movie is also 39 years old at this point. So you should have seen it by now. 38 years old. In the books is probably 40 years old. So yeah, I definitely recommend you watch The Color Purple. Once I realized that beauty is a social construct, because here I'm gonna give y'all a big dose of truth right now. This is like a really big something that kind of like. It used to drive me crazy, and I just kind of had to just like let it go because I realized that it genuinely has nothing to do with me. And those people not finding you attractive genuinely has nothing to do with you. And I know that sounds so far-fetched, but you have to hear me out. And you know, I do most of the stuff I do with Monet Exchange and with Peppermint. And whatever it is about Monet and Peppermint, whenever they are on the screen, it is all a bunch of comments on their physical beauty. It is always, especially Peppermint. Whenever I do anything with Peppermint, the entire screen is just, Peppermint is glowing. Oh my God, Peppermint is so beautiful. Which by the way, I agree. Peppermint and Monet are very beautiful, and I see their beauty, and I bask in it. And it used to drive me crazy, and I was like, bitch, am I fucking chop suey over here? And then in the last episode, I had this beard that I had been growing just because I hadn't done drag in so long. And then I started getting compliments on my beard, and I was like, well, I have to shave my beard off because I have to do drag. And it was like driving me a little bit crazy because I was like, I was finally getting these compliments that I was like never getting online. But then I had to realize too that for me to derive my self-worth off of how beautiful people think I am does not actually give me self-worth. You know what I mean? It is a very superficial feeling, a fleeting feeling, by the way, of feeling beautiful. And when I realized that, again, like I said, beauty is just a social construct. It's based on, and it is almost always based on Eurocentric beauty standards. And I'm going to reiterate that it's almost always based on Eurocentric beauty standards. And the further you get away from a skinny white person, then the less beautiful you feel. You know what I mean? And I just basically you have to decolonize your own mind, basically.
And also, last thing I want to say too is just know that for every body shape, physicality, every type of beauty in the world, there's someone who is into that, and someone's gonna love that. You know what I mean? And you may not be finding it as easy as you would like to on these apps and these hookup apps and dating apps, but I promise you, there's somebody out there that's gonna see your short black ass and be like, "Fuck, that's my man, that's my guy, that's my person." You know what I mean? So just know that is a thing. And again, it sounds like, yeah, sure, it's not gonna happen, but I promise you there is.
Also, if you're loading up a comment about my physical beauty, please delete it. Please do not. Please. It's too late. No, I'm kidding. No, but please.
No, Bob. We will hear you.
It drives me. Please don't. Please delete the comments. Please hit backspace, honey. It makes me. I've actually got to a point where I am a little bit uncomfortable with people talking about not too much, to be honest, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable with people commenting on my physical beauty in general. I think I'm overcoming some form of, I don't want to call it trauma, but like I'm just overcoming my own issues with that, to be honest. Especially when I'm not done up, especially when I'm like, you know, just sitting around,
just bobbing around.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but not enough that people. But I don't want to make a big deal out of it. So you know what? Type your comments. I don't care. What's our next?
Oh my God, that was a journey. I don't know where we're at. I don't know what to do. I have loaded. I just typed the words Bob. I don't know what to put after them.
I'm still on my journey, Monet. So you don't mind if I'm still on my journey.
So can I say Bob, you're beautiful, or can I not?
You can say Monet. You can say whatever you want to say. This is you can.
Okay.
You are free to say all that you want to
And send.
Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Hi, my name is Georgie. My pronouns are she, her. I have this predicament where I have been living with my roommate who is 9 years older than me for like 4 years now. And so since they're so much older, they are more established in career. They make a lot of money. And during 2020, they bought a house and I moved into that house with them. So I pay like however so much money a month to help them with rent. To help them with their mortgage, but it's rent for me. But she stopped like 2 years ago. We've lived in the house for 2 years. She's only charged me for utilities like gas and heat and water and trash and stuff like once, and then like never billed me again for it. So like I send the money every month, and then that's all just for rent. I do pay for our internet. I'm just wondering, like, should I bring this up, or do we think it's fair because like I'm helping them with their mortgage on a house that's an investment? What do you guys think?
I want to say, first of all, you're not helping them with their mortgage. You're paying rent to live somewhere. Like, yes, but if you were living at an apartment building or if you're living somewhere else, you're paying.
Monet is gathering. Monet said, "You're not helping. You're paying rent, bitch.
Like you're paying
You're a
rent.
tenant, honey.
If you were living in an apartment complex, whatever it is, that your rent money is going towards the mortgage of that building, but you're not helping the landlord, bitch. You're paying to live at a place. So you're not helping her out. Yes, y'all are friends, but you're still paying to live there. The only place you could, and I don't know your situation, but maybe the only place you could live rent free is back at home with your family, your friends. So you know what I mean. They're saying that the person has not, they've stopped paying rent and they're only paying utilities.
No, they stopped paying utilities. They're only paying rent. They only pay internet and rent.
Okay,
and they haven't paid any utilities in a long time, and they're wondering if they should bring it up.
I mean, if the person is not asking you for it, I assume that, like you said, the person makes a lot of money, so they may be in a situation when they maybe know your financial situation and they don't feel like they need to get those extra cuentas from you to help pay for the other things like trash and water and power. They got it. But if you're still holding up your end of the deal and paying your rent and the internet, then I think counted a blessing. And I think But I'm confused. I want to know, how did you get to the place that you stopped giving it? Like, did they say, hey, did you just stop paying it and they stopped asking for it? So you just chucked it up to, I guess they don't need it? Or did a person tell you to stop paying it? Because if they told you just pay me rent and utility and rent and internet, then that's what they were asking of you. So I would say just count your blessings, but you're not helping them out with their mortgage. You're paying rent to live, not at home.
I really do not like surprise bills. I do not. I always ask.
Girl.
I like to ask up front. I like to be like, hey, I need to know exactly how much this costs. And I need to pay it as soon as possible, because I do not want in a couple of months to get hit with 6 months of bills all at once. So I like to try to get ahead of things while I can, just to make sure. And I know you're friends, but baby, listen to me. I know you're friends. And if you are friends, this will not be an issue. Get it in writing. If she tells you do not owe me any money for those utilities for the past couple of months, get that in writing.
Even an email.
get that in something that you can show someone else down the road.
Mhm.
Obviously you're gonna pay rent if you're gonna live there. And that makes the most sense to me. And it sounds like you have a pretty sweet deal. It sounds like you're friends. It sounds like you get along. It sounds like it sounds like you're not spending that much to live, and you're living with someone that you like, and they're bearing the brunt of the responsibility, probably because they are the major shareholder, and they're probably in the biggest bedroom. These are all assumptions. So yeah, I would just say just get clear on that, get it in writing, and then just kind of like ride the wave, you know.
It's tricky with the I'm helping her pay her mortgage, girl.
That really tickles you.
So I'm helping her pay her mortgage. Bitch, you are paying your rent to live.
I'm sorry. Next question, Jacob.
Hey, Bob and Monet. My name is Warren. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I am Team Monation, but I got love for y'all bobbleheads out there.
That makes one of you.
I just want to ask a quick question. I recently graduated college and moved back home to Virginia, but I really want to move to a very queer city just so, you know, I can be with my fellow queers and live my best gay life. And I just want to ask you all, what are your favorite queer cities out there? I know both of you have traveled so much and toured all throughout the world, and I just wanted to know. Also, maybe one that kind of shook you. You're like, damn, this place is gay. But anyways, love you both. Have a lovely day.
I think it's your turn to go.
Yeah, you know, my favorite city in the world is New York City. New York City is not easy to live in, but if you want to live in New York City, it can be so rewarding. I moved there when I was 22 years old. I did not graduate from college. I dropped out of college, and I just, moved to New York City, and was like, I just had so many dreams and so many hopes and just really bright eyes, and I was just a really, NYC soloist from Annie, $3, 2 bags, 1 me vibe. And I would not change it for anything in the world. I look back on my memories living in New York City as a very young adult as some of the fondest days of my life. I cannot believe that I got to be in New York City before Uber, and like, when I got to New York City, like the token was on the way out, basically.
Wow.
And, like
those little coins with little holes in them.
There were still some swipe cards that had token slots in them, and it was just like such an amazing place. I cannot say enough nice things about New York City. And I also really love LA. LA is a beautiful town. I really like this town a lot. It's so relaxing, which probably is not relaxing if you're from Virginia, but if you go from Virginia to LA, it'll probably seem quite busy. But if you're coming from New York City, anything is relaxing. Anything is relaxing if you lived in New York City for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a city that shocked me, I was like, oh wow. And anyone who lives there is probably like, why would you be shocked? But as someone who was not very versed in Texas, Austin is a wonderful town. I actually considered moving to Austin before moving to LA. From New York City. I didn't give it a ton of consideration, but it was on my radar, like Monet's Portland saga. I was like, I might move to Austin. Like it's a really cute town, and Austin has a really fierce queer scene. And
Ritzy Bits moved there from New York.
Ritzy Bits, the flipping one.
Yeah,
from Connecticut.
Is she from Connecticut? I don't know.
Ritzy Bits was the OG Jax.
Was Ritzy Bits from Connecticut? Are you sure?
Ritzy Bits is from Connecticut. I think Ritzy Bits is adopted. And I think and she used to do the flips, right?
Yeah, she do backflips.
I'm dead. I might have just made all that up, but I'm pretty sure she's from Connecticut. I'm pretty sure this is crazy.
That's a New York thing, right? And I mean, okay, let me hold on. Pause before you start getting crazy. Let me rewind.
You don't know what I'm gonna do.
I think I realized that it may be a New York thing that I hear people do that all the time. And I was talking to 2 friends recently from New York, and I was like, oh my God, I realized that, like, a lot of New Yorkers say that. I don't know if it's just
say what?
Like, I'm dead or I'm crying, like stuff like that. Like
That is not.
okay, that's why I said pause, bitch. And I knew for that fucking reaction. That's why I said pause.
Well, bitch, I'm unpausing. Everything's not a New York City thing, Monet. Saying I'm dead or I'm screaming or
I'm crying.
I'm crying. That is not. It's just. But the thing is, you found out about it in New York City because you were living in New York City when you found out about it. But that does not make it a New York City thing.
Okay. Anyway, queer cities.
I mean, like people walking and breathing and blinking. That is
very New York. The New Yorkers do that like all the time.
Go, answer the question, but gay cities, queer cities.
Queer cities. I will say, I mean, New York City is, to me, I know I live in LA now. New York City is the greatest city in the world. I fucking love being from New York. I fucking love growing up in New York. I fucking love coming of age in New York. I fucking love being a young adult in New York. I fucking love being an adult in New York. Just being able to walk around the city and go to and experience so much gay shit all over the city. It truly, and still today. Now I know some of the local queers there or the queens there. They're like, there's too many gay bars, too much drag, and I can't.
There's less now than there were when I fucking started drag.
Gay bars, bitch. They opened like 3 last year,
and they've closed like 10 since. Even more than that. Heaven, Splash, Excess, Therapy, the Boiler Room, Manhole, XL,
Gym Bar.
It was in Brooklyn. It was shaped kind of like a wind
Sugarland, TNT.
TNT, Sugarland, no parking.
No parking. Oh my God, that was such a good club.
These are all the spots I used to go, girl.
Yeah, so New York City, and of course, LA. Portland is a very queer city, like just queer in general. It is queer, the house down boots, and it is very white. Portland is very white. And then I don't know, it's because I'm American and I know Europeans are just a little bit different, but so many cities in Europe I feel are so fucking queer and I love being there. Fucking Madrid and Barcelona.
Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you think, because I've experienced this too, when I go to these towns, but because we are there for short amounts of time and we are there on the queerest, we are doing the queerest things, we think these towns are queer. But like, so in my experience, Newcastle is a very queer town. Every time I go to Newcastle, it is a very queer experience. But I got a sneaking suspicion that the folks in Newcastle will be like, no, baby, Newcastle is not queer. Brighton is not queer. But in my mind, Newcastle is just, honey, it is gay. I think Ibiza is queerer than Madrid. I think that London is queerer than Birmingham. I think that, those places like that.
Well, I went to Madrid, but not being, Bradley Wilson and we vacationed there for we went there for like a week and a half, and we just went on a friend trip to Madrid. And Madrid was very queer. Like they have bars, and like a lot of bars and things called like Boyberry, where bitch like they have like a lot of them around the city. And like we went to like 3 gay bars. So maybe it's not that queer. It felt very queer to me as an American visiting Madrid. And I think and also Prague. I was very gagged again, but I was there for work. So maybe to your point,
spell Prague.
So maybe Bob may be right. Maybe Prague isn't that queer, but it felt that queer.
You know who said that?
Nicki Minaj, duh. And then, so Prague is when I was there on Work the World. The second time I went there, I was there on Work the World. And myself and one of our sisters, I'll say her name, she doesn't care, Naomi, were at this bar. This club in Prague at the bar. We got out of drag. We got zhuzhed up. We at the club. It's her, us, and like all of us, like Violet, Valentino. We were all out of this club. And then Naomi had like planned to hook up with this dude there, like meet up. I don't know what they were, but meet up. So then Naomi met up with him. He's this very, very good looking dude, hot, right? And like they're talking, and Naomi just turns around to me. She goes, "You can have him." And I was like, work.
Did you hook up with him?
Oh, bitch, we saw that Do Your Favorite Thing, make it out in the bar, and then we went back to my hotel. I went back to the hotel. Run clear. We got it. Bitch, it was great. He was hot. It was great. That was a great time. Naomi I will never forget. Naomi was and she'd been talking to him for like 40 minutes at this point. She turned around and goes, "You can have him."
Must be nice. Gonna work.
Did she ever explain what her thought process was?
No, I never.
Part 2, how was the hookup?
I never asked her why, and I'll ask her. Thank you, Jacob, for reminding me. And the hooker was great. He was a great kisser. He was turning me out. He was great. He was great. Like, I don't know what he could have done or said that Naomi was like, nah, I'm good on it. Or maybe she met someone else.
Can we call her and ask?
Oh my God.
She lives in Los Angeles.
No, Jacob. Jacob is so messy.
It's a fair question.
I mean, should I call her and ask her?
That is between you and Miss Heppenstall.
Let me text her. She's up first before I just call. I just text her. Maybe we'll come back to it. Oh, we don't really.
That was our last question for the night.
Yeah, we don't really have time for any more.
Babiana.
Yes, dear.
I'm learning to savor these moments with you. My little baby's going to be gone for so long, and I'm going to miss you so much. And I'm happy you're not being a total bitch and a cunt, and we can have these lovely, sweet moments together. I love you so much. I really do.
I feel strongly about you too, Monet.
Okay.
And I'm glad that you feel like you can share those feelings with me.
See, there it is. Do y'all? Okay. Patrons especially, and all of you who listen to the podcast, but I know because some of y'all don't. If you're listening on YouTube, you can't see this part. When Bob does that thing, when he answers stuff, he goes like, "Well, Monet, I'm glad that you feel you can share this with me." It feels so dismissive and shady, and I don't like it.
Well, because Monet, you were just trying to intentionally antagonize me, and I didn't allow you to. What you said was, I'm glad you're not being a bitch and a cunt. So you tried to act like, first of all, you're not as clever as your icon, Mistress Isabel Brooks, to be able to gaslight me. I'm not Lucy LaDuca. You're not Mistress Isabel Brooks. Let me tell you right now, bitch, if you and me were on the same season, I would be mind gaming you. You don't have what it takes. You get to wake up very early in the morning to play mind games on Bob the motherfucking drag queen. So you don't get to act like you give me a compliment while saying, I'm glad you're not being a bitch and a cunt, because like you normally are. And then you get to be nice and then expect me to flip around and be like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then I give you nothing. And then you act like me giving you nothing was giving you something when in fact you're the one who gave me something.
Well, I think I just achieved everything I was going for. So thank you so much for playing into what I wanted to. Because I got the reaction I wanted, honey.
Sure. Yeah, that's the reaction you wanted.
It was.
I'm sure.
There it is. There it is. Yes, honey.
And let me guess, Naomi didn't answer your text. You're left on red, and it says red.
Well,
you're gagging because it says
I'm going to show
red.
the screenshot. It doesn't even say delivered for whatever reason. I don't think her phone is on. So it says, I just said,
first
nay.
of all, Naomi's phone will always, it's your crunchy phone. It's your crunchy. Naomi's phone is always working, honey. Okay? Don't ever come for Naomi Smalls like that ever again. It's your crunchy phone.
It's not saying delivered.
Don't ever fix your lips say anything about my fucking season 8 top 3. Bitch, first of all, she was my top 3 before she was yours. Okay?
Okay,
honey.
bitch, and
Naomi was in your top 3 because she felt bad for you. That's the only reason she was in the finale for you, because she felt bad for you, honey.
Naomi tells the story all the time. You know, when we did, it was a top 4 of All Stars 4 when Trudy and I were the top 2, and then Naomi and Monique go to the back, and then that's when they reveal Alaska, Trixie Mattel, and Chad Michaels, and then they turn up at the top of the runway, and Naomi says, Monique looks at them, she looks back at her, and she looks, talking about Trixie's outfit, she goes, is this bitch wearing polyester?
Is this bitch wearing polyester?
Literally. That's so funny.
You know, I'm starting to realize that, like, it's been so long since I was on RuPaul's Drag Race that I don't think I actually remember it as much as I just remember telling stories. Like, I'm just remembering the stories that I've told, and I don't actually remember Drag Race. I just remember specifically the stories that I tell a lot. And people say things, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen, didn't it?
Girl, this is me and everything. Bitch, I can't remember shit I did. Like, sometimes you would tell me something we did a couple months ago, like from tour. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. So I feel you.
I found this Facebook group I started years ago because I kind of let me see I found out about hold on. I found out about this woman named Zoe Alexander from X Factor, and this was like over 10 years ago. She went on and she was kind of like labeled as a Pink impersonator, and then she sang na 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 na, I want to start a fight. And they were like, can you just like kind of sing your own thing? Like, don't do the Pink thing. Don't do the Pink thing. Do like your own thing. And she sang a song. They were like, yeah, you need to go find your own identity and then come back. And then you see her face kind of like melt, and she was like, wait a minute, like I didn't want to sing Pink. You guys told me to sing Pink. I didn't even want to sing Pink. And they were like, what? We didn't tell you to sing anything. And then she like threw her microphone. Well, she said she dropped it. They act like they made it seem like she threw it. She knocked over a set piece. She like pushed the camera, and it was like her realizing that like watching the reality TV machine turn on her, and she didn't realize it. And I had a similar moment to that with this group called Glamour Bees that me and my friends were in back in 2010 maybe.
Oh,
2011, where we all went to America's Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna, should this be a Patreon exclusive where I tell the story, or should I just,
yeah, so make it Patreon exclusive.
Okay, I'll tell you all. It was my first time ever. It's a story about the behind the scenes tea on America's Got Talent and Last Comic Standing. Put it to you that way.
All right,
which I did before Drag Race.
Thank you guys for submitting all of your questions for Sibling Advicery. We have not done one in a while, so this is very lovely. And I guess we should start. You know what? Let's do a little stint of it. Actually, we'll have a lot of advisory coming up because this season is maybe like 3 or 4 more episodes. So we'll get there.
Well, bitch, you know All Stars is just around the river bend. You don't have to watch it, Monet. Okay, you don't have to do anything. I'm not. Thorgy would be happy to fill in.
Bitch, first of all, let me tell you one motherfucking thing, okay? Naomi Smalls, you could take a break. Naomi and I will do with the motherfucking All Stars.
Bitch, you're the one huffing and puffing and grieving.
But you don't know what I'm huffing and puffing at.
Well, you want to share with the class?
No, I don't, actually.
I know what you're huffing and puffing and breathing about. Because you took the stairs about 2 hours ago.
Oh my God. Thank you guys for the advice, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.